Hey, Bill, it's Paul from Panacea. I got Todd with me. I can connect you whenever you're ready.
I'm ready to roll, boss.
Alrighty, here we go then.
Thank you.
Hey, gentlemen, we should be all set. Yeah, hello.
Good morning, Todd, or afternoon, I should say. How's it going?
It's going okay.
Good, good.
Well, believe that phones are a necessary amenity.
Yeah, I hear you. I tell you, it was great to finally meet you last night at the book signing at Barnes & Noble, actually a CD signing. And I tell you, the turnout was fantastic, wasn't it?
It was pretty good, and a lot of fun, too. People were wearing costumes and stuff, so...
Yeah, the tinfoil hats. Well, I know you got a lot to do today, probably sound checking all of that, so let's get right to it. Just have 8 quick questions. And I want to know, at what point in your life did you know that you wanted to make music for a living?
Can't remember. Pretty much since I was born, I guess. My parents gave me a little 45 RPM player, and I just used to spend hours playing Boston pops, like classics and stuff, and staring through the colored vinyl records. Mm-hmm. And those are some of my earliest memories, so I was pretty much born a musician.
Now, who were some of the bands or artists that you were listening to at the time that inspired you and may have had a hand in your musical style?
Well, I don't know about style, but the first time I really got focused on an instrument and got inspired by something I heard on the radio, I think was The Ventures' Walk, Don't Run. Seemed like something I could learn how to play, so I got possessed with that. And guitar became my first instrument. And I liked to play it, but I didn't have a whole lot of focus until the Beatles came out with that new formula, 4 guys, 2 guitars, bass, and drums. And suddenly I had new focus on what I could do with the guitar. And so by the time I got into high school, I had a band and we were actually gigging. And when I graduated high school, I was either going to become a computer programmer or get into a band. Unfortunately, I got into a band.
Now, as a guitar player, are you self-taught?
Pretty much so. But, guitar players copy other guitar players a lot.
Sure.
So I remember going to a club in New York City called the Cafe A Go-Go. Whenever somebody, like a guitar player that I really admired would be there, like Eric Clapton or Michael Bloomfield, and I would go sit essentially about 6 feet in front of them for every set and watch their hands. So I kind of learned a lot from watching other guitar players as well.
Now, your voice is also your instrument. What do you do, if anything, to maintain your vocals while you're on tour?
I don't know. It's gotten to the point where I don't have to go to a whole lot of trouble except try not to get sick. Mm-hmm. That seems to be the only thing that affects my voice nowadays. I suppose if we strung too many dates together, I'd get tired, but we usually don't do more than 2 in a row, occasional 3 in a row.
Yeah.
The voice has been holding up pretty good, so
good.
I'm not going to mess with it.
I hear you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Routine, whatever that is.
Now, your newest release, White Knight, is now out and available. So tell us where the title came from and how you went about acquiring the guest artists that appear on this album.
When I was approached by Cleopatra to make a new record, I didn't really have a record in mind. Often, after about a year or so, I'll start to get antsy and begin to write, but I really didn't have anything. But it was at a time when it was shortly after David Bowie and Prince had died, and I'm kind of like of that generation, auteur who kind of doesn't follow trends, and and I thought to myself, well, I've been making my records and just like letting them do whatever it is they do and not thinking that much about it. I thought I should get more serious because you never know how much time you have
Sure.
left. So I decided that this record was going to be more of a crusade, and that's kind of where the White Knight thing came from.
Now, we met last night at Barnes and Noble here in Fort Lauderdale while you were doing the CD signing for your fans, and I thought the turnout was fantastic. You know, with many of your fans donning tinfoil hats in homage to track number 5 on the White Knight album.
Yeah.
Will you be doing many more of these signing appearances on this tour?
I maybe. I never pay that much attention to what's coming, like 2 days from now. I'm focused on what's happening today and tomorrow. We did one in New York City and got a similarly large turnout. So it seems like the fans are responding well to the latest release, and we're also seeing a lot of them at the show. So it's turning out well.
Great, great. Now, the headlines this week have shifted from the usual President Trump, to Manchester, England, and the terrorist attack at the Ariana Grande concert. As an artist in this business, what is your personal reaction to this, and is there anything, in your opinion, that fans can do to be more vigilant and safe when attending a concert event?
Well, I'm not an expert at these kind of things. I will fully admit.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we have the same issues here because we don't have. England essentially was an occupier of Arab lands, and that's why they have such a large Muslim population, particularly in cities like Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
So the relationship is kind of a little bit more, and has historically been a little bit more. There's more tension in that relationship because the British occupied parts of, and the British also, carried on the Crusades in the Arab lands as well. So there's a lot of history there that would make England more of a target, perhaps.
Sure, makes sense.
Than we would be, because Muslim immigrants in this country, we don't have that same sort of history, except for the CIA propping up the Shah in Iran.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty specific thing. Otherwise, I think the U.S. probably has a better relationship, 9/11 notwithstanding, with our own Muslim population.
Now, to get on a non-sober note, we're very excited to hear that you're going to be touring again as a member of Ringo Starr's All-Star Band, and we'll be back at the Parker Playhouse this November. Are there any surprises you can slip out of the bag at this time?
Well, I don't know. That's all up to the boss. Doesn't usually make a lot of changes. He gets comfortable with it, and then it's like, a pair of old shoes. He doesn't want to change too much.
Mm-hmm.
But he does often, come up with something out of left field, usually for himself. We're not allowed to just willy-nilly change what we play because the basis of the band is, everybody was supposed to have 3 hit singles sometime in their career.
Yes.
And that's dubious whether I have a 4th one. we usually wind up sticking with the songs that were the hits.
Well, Todd, I want to thank you again for your time and consideration in doing this interview with me and rockbandreviews.com, and we're looking forward to a great performance tonight.
Terrific.